Last but not least, we'll spend a couple minutes talking about probability. It's very simple probability problems that you're going to have for this unit. Keep in mind, probability is the likelihood of something happening, usually written as a percentage. To calculate probability, we take the favorable outcomes divided by the total number of outcomes. So here's a very simple example. It says, what is the probability of drawing a red marble? So we would count the number of red marbles, which is 7, and then the bottom number is always the total. So in this case, our total is going to be 12. For this one, we'd say, what is the probability of blue? So we would say there's 5 blue marbles out of a total of 12. It's important to be able to calculate a sample space when you're dealing with probability. There's kind of some options here. You can either list all of them out, you can do a table. My favorite is to do a tree diagram, which is what you're going to see me do in a minute. So this is an example of when 2 coins are tossed. And so it says represent the sample space for this experiment. Again, a sample space is literally just saying what are all of your possibilities. So for the first coin, notice you have heads or tails. And then once you get heads, you have an option for the second coin, you could get heads or tails. Once you get tails, you've got another option of getting heads or tails for the other coin. So your sample space is listing out, again, all of your possibilities. Now, the fundamental counting principle is a simple way to determine what would your sample space be, or what of all of your possibilities. So basically what you do is you you multiply the possibilities of each event. So let's look at an example of this. It says you're trying to decide what pizza to order. You have first a choice of regular, thin, and deep dish. So how many options is that? That's 3 possibilities. And then it says you want only one topping, and you're going to choose either pepperoni or sausage. So that's 2 possibilities for your second event. So it says, what are all the possibilities for dinner? Now, you can first start off by saying the fundamental counting principle says that there are 3 times 2, or there's 6 total possibilities. If you wanted to list them out, which I would always suggest doing, I like to use a tree diagram. So we can start off by saying regular, thin, or deep dish. For each one of your first possibilities, so regular, thin, or deep dish, you have options for your topping. You could do pepperoni, or you could do sausage. You could do pepperoni, or you could do sausage. You could do pepperoni, or you could do sausage. So if I'm listing out all my possibilities, I would say regular pepperoni, regular sausage, thin pepperoni, thin sausage, deep dish pepperoni, deep sausage. So this is an example of listing out all your possibilities, or listing out your sample space. So let's look at an example of a question that you may see in Ed Ready. So it says the cafeteria creates pre-made box lunches with an equal number of the following items. The sandwich can be made with either white or wheat bread. So that's my first option. I've got white or wheat bread. Now with each one of those, you can either have roast beef or bologna. So that's my second option, roast beef or bologna. So we'll do roast beef or bologna. Now it says you can have a snack that's either chips, popcorn, or pretzels. So we'll say with each one of these, chips, popcorn, or pretzel. Chips, popcorn, or pretzel. I probably should have left myself some more room. Chip, popcorn, or pretzel. And then chip, popcorn, or pretzel. And then you got a drink that's either water or juice. So with each one of these, sorry, I'm running out of space here. I'm going to come over and say water and juice. Water and juice. Water and juice. I missed one. Water and juice. Water, juice. Here we go. Water, juice. Water, juice. Oh my goodness, you guys. Make sure you have a blank sheet of paper because this takes up a lot of space. But these would be all my possibilities. So it says, if Jim chooses a lunch at random, what are the chances he will choose a sandwich with white bread, with beef, and chips? So we've got white bread. We know we're looking for beef. And then we know we're looking for chips. So we've got white bread, beef, chips with water. Or we have white bread, beef, chips with juice. So there's 2 options for him to choose white bread, beef, and chips, because then he has an option of water and juice. So we've got 1 option here, 2 options there. The next thing we need is, what is my total sample space? Now I can go through and count everything in my last row here, or I can use that fundamental counting principle. Remember, I have 2 options for my bread. I have 2 options for my meat, I have 3 options for my snack, and then I have 2 options for my beverage. So if I do 2 times 2 times 3 times 2, that gives me a total of 24 options. Again, or I can just go through and count everything that's in my last list here. It should add up to give me 24. The last thing you want to do is simplify, so this is going to give you 1 over 12.